Jesse Lee Show. Oh, oh. Jesse Lee Show. Oh, oh. The Jesse Lee Show. Oh, oh. The Jesse Lee Show. Jesse Lee Show.
Hey, it's me, Jesse Lee. Thank you so much for pressing play on the podcast, the very last Jesse Lee Show of 2025. It's going to continue in 2026, much to your dismay, possibly, but I'm going to be here. You know what we do? Every week we get together, we go over some of the biggest stories in rock and metal music, and I read your reactions, your hot takes, your questions from you, the Jesse Legion. But this week's a little different. We're doing something because, music news is pretty slow right now. Not a lot of new music coming out during this 2-week period, this grundle of a week, if you will, the in-between of the new year. There's just not a lot of music releases, a lot of tours, just not a lot of news to go over. There are a couple stories we'll get to later on in the show, but for the most part, today I want to focus on your music predictions for 2026. I posted this question on Instagram and TikTok at Jesse Lee and asked, what are your music predictions for 2026? So we're going to get into those, but real quick, if you want to be a part of next week's episode, make sure to bang your head on that follow and subscribe button and drop your questions in the comment section below. That's how you officially join the Jesse Legion. I know you want to be a part of that very elite group, so go ahead and drop your questions, drop your hot takes, whatever below, and maybe we'll get them answered next week. All right, first up, Jack Cossart 21 on Instagram. Prediction for 2026, delusional fans will frantically theorize endlessly about another MCR album that won't be released. It's me. I'm delusional fans. Yeah, MCR 5 is not real. This is just propaganda created by Big Emo. I'm sorry, a new My Chemical Romance album is probably not happening. It could, but I don't think it's going to. You know, the band got back together earlier this decade, and they released Foundations of Decay, that song in 2022, which was just sort of meh for me. I was excited that we had new MCR at all. I was just pumped that we had new My Chemical Romance songs at all. But yeah, for me, that song didn't really fluff my pillows, and after it was out for a while, I went back and listened to it. All the excitement kind of wore off, and that was the last thing we got from the band back in 2022. And since then, they've toured a ton. They've done a lot of festivals, headlining a lot of big festivals. They're planning on headlining a lot of big festivals in 2026. They've been doing this Black Parade conceptual tour for the last year, and it looks like they're going to continue doing it throughout 2026, even though there's been hints that there might be some sort of Three Cheers or Sweet Revenge tribute anniversary shows going on, as not anniversary shows, but some kind of Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge shows happening, possibly. But honestly, they're more popular now than they've ever been, so they don't really need to release new music. They can just kind of ride this wave as long as they want. I mean, they could be worried that a new album, some new music might actually hurt the legacy. You know, what if it doesn't live up to expectations? What if it doesn't live up to previous releases? Right now, they're just riding a sweet wave of everyone loving what they're doing out on the road and loving getting a chance to see My Chemical Romance live again. And honestly, if you're not a fan of hearing new music from bands, there are a lot of people out there that just want to hear the songs they know, just want to hear the hits. They don't care about new music. This is a golden time to see My Chemical Romance live. I mean, you can go check them out, and they're going to play all the songs you want to hear, all the old tracks. You don't have to worry about sitting through a new song that you don't know the words to yet, if that's not your thing, which a lot of people are like that. So, I mean, maybe the band is intentionally not releasing a record because of that. They just want to, like I said, ride this legacy. There's a lot of bands that come back to a lot of hoopla and excitement, and they tour and they play shows and everyone's pumped, and then they start releasing new music again, and it doesn't really do what everyone's hoping it's going to do. It kind of flops, you know? I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to name any bands in particular, but it does happen. I'm not saying that's what My Chemical Romance's thought process is. I could be totally off, but it's a possibility. Or maybe they just don't feel inspired yet to do it. Maybe they're just not at the point where they feel like they want to put the record out. They have plans to, but right now they just want to focus on the live shows and touring and hitting all the places they haven't hit in a long time. I don't think there's going to be a new album in 2026, but if there is, I don't think there's going to be a slow rollout of singles. I don't think they're going to hype it up too much because there's been so much anticipation. There's been so much delay for this new album. I think if we do get a new record from MCR, they're just going to bukkake 12 songs on us right there, and that's going to be the end of it. Mad Max 315 on Instagram. Prediction for 2026, Slipknot album probably going to be delayed again. I'm assuming you're not talking about the actual Slipknot album. I'm guessing you're talking about Look Outside Your Window, the experimental side album that the band recorded back in 2008 And it wasn't even the whole band. The band was in the recording process for All Hope Is Gone in '08. And it was just a few of the members of Slipknot branched off to the side and recorded this whole side album. And since then, it's been delayed. It's been promised to be released year after year. Clown famously is the one that's always going on record saying it's coming out this year, it's coming out this year. And then that can gets kicked down the road and gets pushed down a little further. And honestly, I don't care. I really don't. I mean, if they ever do put the record out, great. But from everything I've heard about it, you know, it's first of all, it's not a Slipknot album. It's an album featuring some of the Slipknot members. It's supposed to be very super experimental. It's going to sound like nothing we're expecting from, at least that's what we heard from some of the band members. So again, if and when they ever drop this record, sweet, I'll check it out. But I'm not one of those people when I hear Clown talk about it, my nips get hard. Like, oh, I can't wait to hear it. Because again, it doesn't sound like it's going to scratch that itch for Slipknot fans. It's going to be something, I think, for like the super fans. I could be wrong. It could be super awesome and completely different left center. And if they do put the record out and it is awesome, then what? Are they going to start playing these songs live at Slipknot shows? I mean, I don't think so, because they don't really fit in with the whole vibe of Slipknot, especially since most of the members in the band weren't there when this record was made, when these songs were recorded. But yeah, back to your original prediction, I don't think it's actually going to get delayed again. I think it will actually come out this year. I know there's been a lot of stop and stall and a lot of promises that were, you know, not delivered upon. But now that the band is independent now, they're not with a record label, they have a lot less legalities, a lot less hoops to jump through. I think this year is probably going to be the year they release it. Whether or not it's going to be good, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Prediction for 2026. I predict that Sleep Token will continue to get an unnecessary amount of hate from the metal fans with a laughable amount of fragile masculinity. I mean, I don't think it's fragile masculinity that makes people hate Sleep Token. I think some people just don't like that kind of music. Some people don't like that band, you know. That's what the comment section is there for, to voice your opinions and your thoughts on whatever the content is. Me personally, I'm not the type of person to go on social media and hate on anything or dunk on something I don't like. I just kind of let it go through my feed. But again, that's what it's there for. It's there to critique and comment on. That's what the comment section is for. So I don't really have a problem with people not enjoying Sleep Token. I don't think that says anything about their masculinity if they don't like Sleep Token. I will say, I do think it's crazy how much people do hate Sleep Token. Like, the level of hate is just unreal. And obviously, it's especially huge in the rock and metal world. I mean, the band simply existing just pisses off rock and metal fans to no degree. And it's sort of similar to how Nickelback had this extreme amount of hate back in the day, but they were super successful. But I think it's even more extreme than that, because, you know, back in the 2000s, early 2000s, you couldn't find anyone that would admit that they loved Nickelback. Even though the band's selling out arenas and clearly had a ton of fans, you were hard-pressed to find somebody to admit, like, oh yeah, I love Nickelback. That's one of my favorite bands. That's why the whole Nickelback or Liar t-shirt is great, because it's 100% accurate. Everybody likes How You Remind Me. You can say you don't like it all you want, but if that song comes on, you're singing along to it. But that's not what's happening with Sleep Token. They have a very loyal fan base, a lot of people that literally worship the band. And I've seen a lot of people say that they aren't huge fans of Sleep Token, but they don't hate them. They're just kind of whatever to them. But it's the fan base, the very intensely devoted fan base, that kind of drives people away, because it's like, this is too much. It's almost like I've seen a lot of people compare the Sleep Token fans to the Swifties in a way. So I can see how that would kind of push people away from even wanting to get in the band to begin with. But yeah, to your point, I don't think the haters are going to go anywhere. The haters are probably going to increase, but the lovers, the worshipers, those are going to increase as well. Just there, look at this on Instagram, said Sleep Token first collab. I don't think so. I don't think Sleep Token's doing any collabs this year. I don't think that fits in with the whole mystique, with the allure of the band. I know they did one collab in like 2022 with Loathe, but I don't think they're doing any kind of collabs in 2026. I think eventually they will at some point, but I think right now they are kind of riding this mysterious anonymity, and I don't think having a collaborator on a track would make sense for their brand, if you will. The Noise on Instagram said, a huge crabcore comeback in 2026. So are we talking about crabcore bands from the early 2000s, like reuniting and coming back? Or are you saying there's going to be a whole new crop of crabcore bands, a whole new boat of crabs? What do crabs, they're not called like a flock. Obviously, that's birds. I don't know. What do you call a bunch of crabs? It's not, those are crustaceans. I don't know. A school of crabcore? Is that what a school of crabcore might show up in 2026? Possibly. I don't know if Gen Z's lower back can handle the the guitars hanging down like they did back in the early 2000s. I will say I think the whole early 2000s metalcore scene in general might come back with that bands like I Promise the World. They're blowing up right now. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of bands seeing that and want to kind of dial into that whole aesthetic. It's very possible. Spiritbox win the Grammy. Evanescence album will be the best album of the year, and we will have another huge collab. Yeah, possibly. I mean, Spiritbox has been up, what, 3 times for a Grammy now? So they've been chasing that dragon for the last few years. Maybe this will be their year. Evanescence, the new album, there's supposed to be a new album in the spring from Evanescence. That's what Amy Lee said in a recent interview. I think Evanescence hype is at a fever pitch right now. I think they're as big as they've ever been. I think this would be a great time for them to drop a new album. So yeah, I think if they do put something out in 2026 like they say they're going to, I think it's going to be pretty huge. Goddess Jack on Instagram said, the Spice Girls announced a Sphere residency, speaking it into existence. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I would prefer Metallica probably to play the Sphere, but yeah, sure. Throw the Spice Girls in there. The Spice Women now. I will say that Wannabe song's been popping up a lot randomly on social media, on like ads and stuff. Such a banger, man. I forgot how good that song is. M2IND on Instagram said, a pop girly will switch to pop punk and absolutely thrive. I don't think so. I feel like the whole pop punk comeback is kind of over. I don't think that's going to be a thing in 2026. I think we saw the pop punk resurgence. And I say this as a very I say this as a very big pop punk fan, a big fan of pop punk music, but I don't think we're going to see another pop punk resurgence in 2026. I can see some, quote, pop girlies, as you say, switching to more heavy sounds, more metal, maybe metalcore possibly, but I don't think pop punk. Hudson0730 on Instagram said, new Guns N' Roses album. Okay, sure. I mean, I guess if they do, cool. I mean, these last few singles they've been putting out haven't done anything for me. I don't know about you, but I just haven't been super hyped about these new Guns N' Roses songs. They don't feel like anything super exciting to me. So, I mean, if Guns N' Roses does put out a new album, awesome. I'm just happy they're still making music for sure. But I mean, unless they drop Welcome to the Jungle Part 2, I'm not going to be too pumped for it. Metal Junkie Dylan said, new Breaking Benjamin album, new From Ashes to New album, new Beartooth album. That'd be great. I would take new albums from all those bands, especially Breaking Benjamin, man. We've been eating off that Awaken song from 2024 for a while now. So yeah, we definitely need some new Breaking Benjamin out here. And I know they're in the studio. I know they're working on music. They're always posting behind the scenes content in the studio. So I feel like we're getting close to at least some new singles from the band. Colton Prime 3 on Instagram said, Fall Out Boy tour or new album. I think we're probably about due for a new Fall Out Boy album. They're pretty consistent. Fall Out Boy is pretty consistent every few years with new music, so I think we can probably count on something from them this year. Frank the Tank 737 said, Bring Me the Horizon will do something special for the 20th anniversary of their first album, Count Your Blessings. Yeah, they're pretty balls deep in this whole post-human series they're doing with the new records and new music, so I don't think we're going to get any kind of big anniversary tour or anything like that for Count Your Blessings, but I could definitely see some kind of 20th anniversary box sets or some kind of vinyl option, something like that. I'm sure they'll do something to celebrate it, but I don't think there's gonna be any kind of full-blown tour or anything like that. Maybe they'll just like play some of the heavier songs on the next tour, possibly. Gooshmark006 said, Fallen in Reverse album drops, goes #1 on Billboard. I feel like Ronnie's probably gonna drop a few more singles this year. I don't know if he's gonna do a whole album this year, possibly. I mean, we've gotten a few one-off singles since the last album dropped, so I guess we could possibly get a new album, but it does seem like he's kind of doing singles and then building up to a full album release. Declan Heimer on Instagram said, new Creed album, maybe. Yeah, they're definitely going to release some new music at some point. I don't know if 2026 is a year, though. I mean, Mark Tremonti says they have ideas for new music, and they've kicked around some ideas, but it's just them. It comes down to them getting off the road, getting home, getting in the studio, and actually putting these ideas down. He says new music is going to happen, but we have no idea when. I don't think we're going to get a new album from Creed in 2026. I think we could possibly get a new single from Creed in 2026. I think that's possible. Mike Donegan on Facebook said, System of a Down with a surprise album drop. Man, that would just break the new metal internet. All the internet, really. I don't know if we're going to get new System of a Down. I mean, they've been pretty adamant that they've just been having a great time out there playing music, and they're getting along now better than they ever have. And there's still those issues, though, those creative issues with the new album and allocating like who gets credit for songs and all that stuff. So I did a whole interview with Serge Tankian. At this point, it's been a couple years now. And even at that point, he was like, until some things are resolved behind the scenes, I don't think we're gonna get any new music from the band. And since that interview, every interview that I've heard from the band members since have all kind of echoed that same thing. Like, well, we're having a good time playing music. No information on any new album, any new music anytime soon. So I don't know. A surprise album would be a good way to go. Again, not dropping singles, not teasing it too much. Just bukkaking 12 to 13 songs on us. Hell yeah. Aunt Malum on Facebook said the Wiggles make a comeback and release the heaviest song of all time. Also, probably some deathcore band we've never heard of will get canceled. That always makes me laugh, man. There's always a band that gets in the news because one of the band members does something awful or horrific or does something completely crazy and gets canceled. And it's the only time you ever hear about this band. You'll see this band in the headlines, and this band has never been talked about before on these music news sites about releasing new music or going on tour or new albums, anything like that. But once something awful happens, then everyone picks up the story and starts talking about it and gets posted on social media. Young Medicine on Instagram said mountains of AI slop music dominating every short form platform. I mean, yeah, for sure. I don't think it would be just AI music slop, though. Just AI slop in general will unfortunately be dominating every short form and probably long form platform at some point too. I mean, it's just, you can't even compete, man. I mean, I'm out here trying to create content on a regular basis. I can't compete with a machine that's churning out content 24/7 nonstop. And it's such a bummer every time you open up Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and like every third video is some AI dupe, something that's not real. And it is the worst when you see something that is actually pretty cool, so something that's pretty funny. And you're like, oh, that's a funny video, but like, damn it, it's not. It's AI. Like, I want to hate it because it's AI, but also it's kind of funny. So it's like, I'm torn on it. I know AI is not going anywhere. I know I can't fight it completely. I know it's like going to be a part of every fabric of our life at some point. But yeah, as far as the AI slop music, that I will not get on board with. I'm not going to be listening to that. I won't be adding that to any playlists. Won't be promoting AI bands anytime soon. It's just a bummer. Like I said, every time you open up your social media, you're just inundated with every third video being some AI slop, some nonsensical thing that draws you in initially because you think it's something cool. Then you realize it's just fake. It's just not real. Or Bindo on YouTube said an AI track will be released this year that will be nominated in the 69th, nice, annual Grammy Awards. Yeah, 69, giggity.
Oh, giggity, 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 goo.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if this year will be the year, but there's only a matter of time before AI artists are nominated for Grammys. I believe there was one nominated for a Grammy, wasn't there? Or there was some AI artist recently nominated for some award. But yeah, I mean, all these big record labels are investing a ton of money in AI, partnering with AI, partnering with Suno. These labels are signing AI artists left and right. Yeah, of course. It's only a matter of time before they start actually winning awards and being treated as real artists, which is crazy to me. But yeah, it's going to happen. Antonio C137 on Instagram said, new metal's resurgence only grows bigger and haters get shut up even more so. Korn gets their due and finally gets Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination. They won't get in for a while, but it sets the tone for it to happen before 2030. I actually have to kind of disagree. Again, as someone who loves nu metal, unashamedly so, obviously I'm a big nu metal fan. I don't know if it keeps getting bigger in 2026. I feel like it might have reached its peak in popularity as far as the resurgence goes. The whole divorced dad rock, butt rock, nu metal scene. I feel like I don't want to discourage anyone from making that kind of music. I think we need more bands making that kind of music because I think it's awesome. But I don't know if it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger in 2026. I feel like maybe it's reached its climax, but we'll find out. Giggity.
Giggity, giggity.
Limp Bizkit to break up? You shut your dirty mouth, okay? No way. Limp Bizkit is not, regardless of what I just said about nu metal not getting any bigger in 2026, there's no way Limp Bizkit. I mean, I really hope not. You know, barring any kind of insane tragedies, I really don't think Limp Bizkit is going to break up. Again, another band that's bigger than they've ever been before. And speaking of tragedies, they just went through losing their bassist, Sam Rivers. And, you know, they were able to come through on the other side of that. So, I mean, yeah, again, barring anything catastrophic happening, I don't think Limp Bizkit's going to break up. I really hope they don't break up. But yeah, I don't agree with that. Bone in Chains on Instagram said, Alice in Chains world tour or new album, something will go wrong with Metallica or they will get in a controversy. Megadeth new album will either flop or be phenomenal. Well, you've got a lot of options there. Yeah. So Alice in Chains, sure. Yeah. World tour, new album, possibly. Metallica, something going wrong with them or controversy. I don't know. I feel like they've been in the game long enough that they'll avoid any sort of controversy. Anything, I can see the band accidentally using AI in something, like producing some video or some merch or something like that, and that becoming a big controversy of them using AI. But other than that, I feel like this band's covered their tracks throughout the time. I think they're good now. And Megadeth's new album will either flop or be phenomenal. I think it's going to be what it is. I think it's going to be Megadeth. You know, it's going to be the Megadeth we all know and love or hate, depending on how you feel about Megadeth. But I mean, if you look at the singles they've released so far the album's on par with most Megadeth. I mean, it's shaping up to be a pretty classic Megadeth album, for better or for worse. You know, if you like that kind of style of music, then it's going to probably be phenomenal in your eyes. But if you don't like songs like I Don't Care and Let There Be Shred, then I feel like it's going to feel like a big flop to you. I said this before, though. When we found out this was going to be the very last Megadeth album, I feel like we were all going to have graduation goggles on. No matter what they put out, we were just going to be happy and accepting and just be grateful that we have one last Megadeth album from the band. Rock and Roll Fan 1980 on Instagram. I wonder when you were born. Or maybe that's when you graduated. Billy Idol will get rejected from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame again, and Mick Jagger is going to call it quits. Yeah, I hope William Idol gets nominated and gets inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame soon. I don't know if he'll get nominated again this year, since he just got nominated last year, or next year rather. I don't know if he'll get, since he got nominated in 2025, I don't know if he'll get nominated again in 2026. Possibly, but there was a lot of uproar when he didn't get put in 2025, so I feel like if he gets nominated again, he will probably get in this time, but we'll see. As far as Mick Jagger calling it quits, no way, man. Mick Jagger is not human. He's not from this mere mortal world. Like, he is some other rock and roll extraterrestrial just out there doing freaking Zumba while he's out there just running laps around the stage. How old is Mick Jagger? Yeah, Mick Jagger is 82 years old, and he's out there doing wind sprints and singing 3-hour shows. That guy is not human. I don't think he's calling it quits anytime soon either. I feel like his bones were all replaced with some kind of like titanium exoskeleton or something, just like keep him all limber out there. Maddox on Instagram said, Tim Lambesis Loudwire post. Yeah, I mean, not just Loudwire. All the music news outlets post about anything Tim Lambesis does and all the controversy with him. Again, that's something I just don't care about it anymore. I covered all the Tim Lambesis As I Lay Dying stuff with the band members quitting and all that when it was happening. But it just seems like every month there's more drama with this. There's more ex-wife drama where she calls him out for stuff and he denies it. He puts out statements and goes back and forth. And again, I was not really a big As I Lay Dying fan to begin with. So I just find it so hard to be interested in this back and forth every other week, every other month with this band. I don't care about the band, to be honest. I don't really care about the drama with Tim Lambesis, and I just don't know how many times we can keep covering and keep talking about these stories with him. So I don't know. Barring again anything crazy happening, I don't know if I'll be talking about any more of the As I Lay Dying Tim Lambesis drama. But there are outlets that will do it if you need to catch up on it. Jack Williams on Instagram said, Jesse Lee puts out a divorced dad rock song. Okay, fine. If that's what it takes to keep that resurgence going, like I said earlier, if we do want 2026 to be the year where the butt rock and the new metal and the divorced dad rock just keeps climbing to new heights, if it takes me putting out a song, fine. I'll do it. I'll put out a divorced dad rock song. I'll do it. I'll do my part for the scene. You can count on me. All right, that's going to be our last prediction for the day. And you know what? We've actually been going for quite a while here, so I feel like we'll probably call it here today, guys. Right? Everyone listening and watching, I think we'll call it for here. I mean, we got some music news we could probably get into, but I don't know. I feel like there wasn't a lot of exciting things going on this week. And you know what? I don't want to drag this episode on any longer. You got things to do. You know, it's New Year's Eve. You got to get out there and kiss someone at midnight and watch some balls drop. I know. Or if you're listening to this hungover the next day, then I hope your night went well. In the meantime, you can find me at Jesse Lee on TikTok and Instagram, and bang your head on that follow button. Also, please make sure to bang your head on that follow and subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, all that jazz as well. Become a full-fledged member of the Jesse Legion. And above all else, no matter what you do, please make sure to share this podcast episode with somebody that doesn't suck. All right? Take it easy now, and bye-bye.
Jesse